Hey everybody. Well, we're in week 5 now, so we made it. We're almost done, right? So you should have been already working on your final exam, which is your portfolio project, as of last week. And of course, there are a few sections that you have to wait until this week to do. So I wanted to just review those sections, and just so you know, on the final, there's sections 11, 12, 13, and 14. And so this is the application, the cover letter, the chronological resume, and the functional resume. So basically, if you have already done a chronological resume, you're going to have to revise that resume based off of the comments that I've made for you on the original assignment. So the best way to get back to your original resume, cover letter, and application just to see what was said is to go into the modules section, which is on your left-hand side. So when you're looking at Canvas, you'll see on the left, modules is up there. So click on modules, and then you're just going to go to week 1 where the assignment was originally offered, and then click on the original assignment in week 1. So for the resume, obviously you click on your resume or the resume assignment. For the application, you'll click on the application assignment, and for the cover letter, you'll click on the cover letter assignment. Now, everybody who turned in one of those 3 assignments has revisions or comments that they need to listen to when they're working on the revision. So let's start with the job application. So for the job application, what I expect is that you actually fill out a new separate job application, but I do want you to look back at the comments that were made on your original application, because if you made certain mistakes, I expect to not see those mistakes on this new application. Okay, so again, same rules apply as the original assignment. So if you're confused in any way, just go back to the original assignment and look at the directions there, and that'll give you the information you need to do the next job application. So again, you can choose any application online as long as it has a section where you're filling out your past job history. If you do not fill out your past job history somewhere during the application, then that application is not okay for this assignment. It must contain your past jobs in order to work for this assignment. When you go through online working on this assignment, you need to take pictures as you go through the application. So you'd fill out, whatever you can see on the screen, take a photo of that, then move to the next screen, fill it out, take another picture. Some of you guys did not do that on the original assignment and you lost some points. But if you fail to make the changes that I've asked you to make on the application, you will result in 0 points. So if I start to see that you haven't done what I asked, you're just going to get a 0 on that section, because I'm not going to waste my time trying to, fix it again when you haven't even listened to the first set of instructions. So if you want to get better and you want your applications in the future to be awesome, go back and look and see what I've asked you to do. Make sure you implement those changes on the second application. Okay, when you're done with the application, you have all your screenshots. You're going to turn those screenshots in on your final exam in section 11. So you'll just put those screenshots. That's all you need to do. As long as you've done the assignment correctly, we're good. So that's the application. Then for sections 12 and 13, it's for section 12, it's the cover letter. There's a lot of mistakes that happen on the cover letter for a lot of people. There's not one person that does not have something they have to change. So you need to go back to the original cover letter assignment, which is in week 1. And on the bottom right, you'll see in the text box, there's a list of changes that I would like you to make on your final cover letter. Now, on this one, you're not writing a new cover letter, but what you're doing is revising the original cover letter. But then I'm asking you to create 2 additional cover letters. So you'll have 3 cover letters total. Yes, you probably do have to go find a job. One of the things on the final is that you have to find 7 jobs. So what I would do is just use, one for each, one cover letter for maybe each of 3 of those different jobs. So you already have looked up, by the time you get to this, on your final, you should have already looked at 7 different jobs or job advertisements. So just use those job advertisements as, I guess, the jobs that you'll be creating the 2 additional cover letters for. Now, don't go writing the other two cover letters before you've worked on revising the one that I asked you to revise. So one of them should be the revised cover letter that you've already turned in. You don't need to create a new cover letter. You just need to fix that one. And what I'm going to be doing is looking to see that you've done that. If you have not done that, you will be getting a 0 in that section, regardless of your other cover letters, okay? So when I see you haven't looked at the changes I've asked you to make or implemented any of them, you're just going to get a 0 on that section, regardless of the other cover letters that you turn in. So if you're not going to do the revisions, don't even bother doing the other two cover letters because you're going to get a 0, okay? The next section is, before I move on from cover letters, I did mention to mostly everybody in their revision that you do need to sign your cover letters for your final exam using DocuSign. And I have listed a link to that in the written instructions for this. So if you look just directly above this video in Canvas, there's a set of written instructions. The DocuSign link is there, but then again, it's just DocuSign.com. But you want to make sure that you're accessing the free for 30 days site. The other alternative is you could use Google Signature, but I kind of noticed that Google Signature is a little harder to use. So I would try DocuSign first, and if you struggle with that, then maybe Google will be easier for you. I don't know. But usually I would say Google is a little harder to figure out. If you just go to Google and type in Google Signature, it will take you there. Okay, so then we've got the resumes. So sections 13 and 14 are the chronological resume and the functional resume. Okay, so for the chronological resume, I think I've mentioned before that it just lists your jobs in chronological order, starting from the most recent to the oldest. Now, again, in your resume, you don't have to list every single job you've ever had. You want your resumes to be on one page. So whether it's chronological or functional, one page. The functional resume is more of a skill-based resume. So instead of just listing jobs, it's going to list different skills. So you'll list the skills that you have, and then you could list some experiences or volunteer experiences at the bottom as well. But it's focused mainly on the skills. So skills is the first thing that you're going to see. Now, you're going to have to create both of these resumes because I do want you to be familiar with both of them. If, some people are like, well, I don't have any past job experience. How do I create a chronological resume? Based on that. And what I would like you to do is just do a section for jobs like you're going to do in order. And if you don't have any jobs to list in order, list volunteer experiences, list experiences that you've had, like maybe in high school where you've gained some skills or whatever, and then do a skills section at the bottom with more skills. I just want you to show me that you understand the difference between a chronological resume and a functional resume. And that difference is functional is about skills. Chronological is about listing your jobs from newest to oldest. Now, the other thing that you need to know is on your resume, I saw a lot of people with the education section where they were listing their education. If you have not earned a college degree already, you do need to list your high school diploma on your resume. Okay, so I did make a note of that on most people's stuff, but in case I forgot yours or missed it on yours, basically, you're going to list Chaffey College first because you are a college student now. So you should be listing Chaffey because you are in college, but it should be just a degree in progress. So you'd be like started, whatever date you started, and then through the present, okay? And then Chaffey College. Then underneath that should be your high school, the name of your high school. You could put general education, the year you graduated, maybe the city that your high school was located in. Okay, that's, you don't necessarily have to list the city, but you do need to list the date and the name of the school and the degree that you earned there. So your high school diploma, you could just put general education or high school diploma completed or something like that. So we know you finished high school because some people don't finish high school, and I don't know if you guys know this, but even if you don't finish high school or get a degree, you can actually just come straight to community college and start working on a college degree. And if you get that college degree, you don't really necessarily need the high school diploma because you've got a college degree now. So that's why you need to delineate on your resume that you have actually completed college, or I'm sorry, not college, high school. Anyways, so whether you're doing a revision on a chronological resume or a revision on a functional resume, you also have to create a resume in the other format, okay? So if you fail to create a resume that reflects the changes I asked you to make on your original resume, you will receive a 0 in that section. These are actually two separate sections. So it was like chronological resume is worth 25, functional resume is worth 25. So if you just did the chronological resume and you revised everything and turned it into me, but you failed to turn in the functional resume, you would still be out 25 points because you would get a 0 in the functional resume category. To review, the application is worth 20 points. So if you fail to do that or you fail to make those revisions, you're just going to get a 0 in that section. That's 20 points. For the cover letters, it's a 15-point section. So each cover letter is worth 5 points. But like I said, if you fail to make the revisions on that first letter, you're going to get a 0 in that section. So that's why I'm letting you know this is how I'm going to be grading you. So you understand it's very important to me that you make those changes. I went to a lot of trouble. I know it took me 2 weeks to grade those guys, but the reason it took me so long is because I was really focused in on helping you figure out what changes you needed to make your resume the best it can be. So you can go and use that then to go find a job or whatever you need. And you have now a good example. If you make the changes I asked you to make, you'll have a good example of what your resume is supposed to look like. So when you do need to go out and search for a job or something like that, you can use that resume as an example of what your resume should look like, but just update the information. So hopefully, by the end of the class, you'll have an idea of this is what my resume should look like, and this is why it looks better. And that's because I took that time to really grade those for you. So if you don't take the information I took a long time to make sure I graded for you and you don't implement that, yeah, you're getting a 0 on the next one, okay? Because I put a lot of time and effort integrating those for you. I know most instructors probably would not do that. So for those sections, that's what needs to happen for your final. Of course, you must understand there's more than just these few sections to the final. There's actually quite a few other sections where you're supposed to insert other things that I've asked you to kind of fish out from the stuff that you've done this semester. So again, if you need to find old documents, the best way to do that is to go to modules and go to the original assignment where it was listed and then click on that and it'll take you there. You can also go to the assignments. Instead of modules, go to assignments and you'll see like a huge assignment list, but it's kind of tough sometimes to find stuff because there's really not a lot of order there. It's not the most organized for this semester, so it might be hard to find stuff, which is why I'm saying probably easier to go back to modules and just find it that way. But you can do that for all of your assignments for the whole semester, so you can see my comments on there if you haven't already gone back to your old assignments to look and see what I had to say on those. Maybe now's a good time to do that as you're going for the final exam. Maybe you can make some changes before you turn those things in on the final. All right, if you have any questions or comments about the final exam, you can always text me. Again, my number is 909-224-1204. I am here for you if you have questions or you're struggling with something on the final. The final exam is not due until, I believe it's the 16th, but let me just make sure real quick because I don't want to give you the wrong date. I've got a couple classes I'm teaching, so sometimes I get confused about certain due dates. Please excuse me while I look here. Yeah, so the final exam is due on the 16th, 7/16. So you need to make sure you turn those things in on that day. We do have a couple more assignments next week in Canvas. So we do have a discussion that you need to make sure that you handle. And then I believe there's one other assignment, just like a little, wrap up thing for the term for me. So you have those assignments and then plus your final. I will also be giving you an extra credit assignment on Monday of next week, and you'll have till the 16th to complete that. And it's on a movie called The Secret. The Secret is a fantastic movie. I try to show it in every class that I have, but sometimes I don't get to it and I feel bad. But for you guys, I really want you to see it. So if you in any way have time to check out that video and then do the write-up on it. It is life-changing information. It's basically about the law of attraction, where you can attract things into your life, and anything too. Like if you want love, you can attract that. If you want a new car, you can attract that. If you want more friends, you can attract those. Really, you can attract anything that you want. So it's a really fantastic movie, and you'll just watch that, do a quick write-up on it, and I think it's like a 2-page write-up, and you'll get some extra credit points, but you'll also get some important information that will help you to achieve goals for the rest of your life, which I think would be fantastic. And normally I try to get this in earlier in the term, but this 6-week class is just whoosh, really fast. I'm very stressed out as well, just as I'm sure you guys are, because we've had a lot of work. But hopefully, as you're approaching the end here, you're feeling like I understand a lot more about, careers. I have a better, a better feel for what careers would work best for me, what wouldn't. I have a better feel for how to write a resume, a cover letter, and fill out a job application. I know how to create my reference list. Oh, that's the other thing I need to talk to you about. So you have 2 reference lists that need to go into your portfolio. And because we had such a fast semester, whoosh, I don't know how much time I really had to go over that with you. But it's pretty easy. There's personal contacts and then personal references. So personal contacts are going to be people that you know from your real life. So like, maybe your cousin. Hopefully don't use family, but if you have to, I guess you can. But hopefully you'd find like a family friend, or maybe a soccer coach, or, a wrestling coach, or a teacher, someone that you know from your life that could vouch for you as a person and tell whoever this employer is what a wonderful person you are and about your character and that kind of thing. And then you have professional references, which are people that you know from your jobs. So, and if you've never done a job, then use people from use teachers from your school, use, coaches or people like that. You can use those. If you don't have professional references, that's probably the next best thing, is to use teachers and coaches and maybe religious leaders, or, people who do know you enough to give you a good recommendation. That maybe if I'm an employer and I call like a teacher or something, I'm like, well, it's a teacher. So if she says that this girl's awesome, then probably she is, as opposed to just like, this person could be anybody. Maybe this is this person's best friend. I don't know. Obviously, they're going to say good things about them if that's their best friend. You know what I mean? So for professional references, it's best to use people that are from your professional experiences. Volunteer experiences count too. So like if you don't have professional experiences, you can use volunteer experiences to get those people. So, and you want to have 5 of each. So you want 5 personal and then 5 professional references. And that's just really helpful to think about, who are those people? Who could that be? So that's one section that I think may have been confusing for you, but hopefully my explanation here cleared that up a little bit for you. My cats are going nuts today, huh? They're just like full of life and they have a lot of energy. So anyway, that is pretty much it. Again, if you have questions, you can always text me. And good luck on your final exam, guys. And it's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed getting to know you all. And reading your assignments and looking at your experiences, your professional experiences, and what you bring to the table. And I think that you guys are an amazing group of students that are going to go on to do great things, all right? The other thing I wanted to mention is you can always put me down as a professional reference for you if you're trying to get a job or something like that. Please just text me or give me an email. Let me know that you're going to be using me as a professional reference, because I don't always remember every student. I have, probably between 90 and 300 students every semester. So, yeah, so there's always a lot of students. Sometimes I may not remember you specifically unless you give me a little reminder. So if you want me to be a reference for you, maybe leave me, hey, remember me, leave a little description of yourself, maybe some things you'd like me to say to a potential employer if they're going to call you or call me and ask. And of course, what job you're applying for and the name of the person that's going to be contacting me, or at least the position, just so I'm prepared, because I have had people call me and say, do you know Dominic Jones? And I'm like, I mean, no, and they're like, it says here you were their teacher. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I was their teacher. I try to I try to give off the impression that I do remember you, but if I don't remember you and you give me a refresher, I'm going to do a much better job in terms of speaking about you if they do call me and ask me questions about what type of person you are. All right. But you can use me as a professional reference. I'm good with that. Okay. So feel free also to keep in touch at the end of the term. I'm on Facebook, my first and last name, Amy Borgi. There's really no other Amy Borgis. So feel free to keep in touch with me there if you would like as well. All right. Bye, guys. Good luck on your final.